You'd be forgiven for thinking that all Robert Mueller does is wake up in the morning and find a hallway to walk down purposefully and with a serious-looking massive briefcase before turning in for the night. We, of course, know that he is so much more than that. He played 3 sports in prep school, soccer, lacrosse, and hockey, and was captain of all 3 teams. He is a decorated, wounded Vietnam veteran who left the Marine Corps with a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. He went on to Princeton, got a master's at NYU, a law degree at UVA. Only J. Edgar Hoover ran the FBI longer than Robert Mueller. He's 73 years old, and his middle name is Swan. When you think about it, we mention his name multiple times every night on this broadcast, and yet, would you know his voice if you ever heard it? Have you ever heard him speak? So we look through his public remarks, and we put together something for you, and as you listen, as you hear him speak, listen to the principles of this man who occupies an enormous role right now in our democracy.
I care deeply about the rule of law. In a free society, a central responsibility of government, I believe, is to protect its citizens from criminal harm within the framework of the Constitution. I have been fortunate indeed to have been able to spend much of my career in pursuit of that goal. What has never changed and will never change are our values. We have pledged to serve and to protect our nation, and to do so while upholding the rights and the liberties guaranteed to every citizen under the Constitution. And I've always been proud to say that I work for the Department of Justice because of that for which it stands, which is an unyielding commitment to the rule of law and to the safety and security of the citizens we serve. In the end, it is not only what we do, but how we do it. Whatever we do, we must act with honesty and with integrity. And regardless of your chosen career, you're only as good as your word. You can be smart, aggressive, articulate, indeed persuasive, but if you are not honest, your reputation will suffer, and once lost, a good reputation can never, ever be regained. As the saying goes, if you have integrity, nothing else matters, and if you do not have integrity, nothing else matters.
Robert Swan Mueller, in his own words.
I'm not even worried about 60 votes. I really believe that 60 votes, 60% meaning, should be so easy.
It's very easy to be presidential. So many of these things are so easy to fix.
We will get our jobs back, and we're going to stop companies from leaving, and it's so easy.
A lot of politicians said, you can't get Mexico to pay for the wall. I said, oh, it's going to be so easy. You're going to have such great health care at a tiny fraction of the cost, and it's going to be so easy.
I do well with Congress. I've worked with politicians all my life. They're easy.
I'm so good at this stuff. I'm so good. It's so easy. You're going to have such great health care at a tiny fraction of the cost, and it's going to be so easy. Now, I have to tell you, it's an unbelievably complex subject. Nobody knew that health care could be so complicated.
She doesn't know if it's the Russians doing the hacking. Maybe there is no hacking. Could be Russia, but it could also be China, most importantly, because we're hacked by everybody. The whole Russian thing, that's a ruse. That's a ruse. Could have been China, could have been a lot of different groups. The Russia story is a total fabrication. I call it the Russian hoax. No, Russia did not help me. That I can tell you, okay? It's a Democrat hoax that was brought up as an excuse for losing an election.
And have you had any dealings with the Russians?
Well, I've done a lot of business with the Russians.
They're commies, you know that.
Well.
They're commies.
Tough. They're smart, and they're tough, and they're not looking so dumb right now, are they?
Well, it's Vladimir Putin. Have you ever met the guy?
Tough guy. I met him once. I don't know Putin. I have no idea. I never met Putin.
Donald Trump is gushing again over Vladimir Putin.
When people like me, I like them. Even Putin. You know, Putin. They want me to disavow Putin. Putin of Russia.
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, a conversational relationship, or anything that you feel you have sway or influence over his government?
I do have a relationship.
I never met Putin. I don't know who Putin is. What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him.
You did say on 3 different occasions you had a relationship with him. Now you say there is none.
Putin even sent me a present, beautiful present, with a beautiful note. I spoke to all of his people.
I have no relationship with Putin. I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him. You would know it if you did, wouldn't you? I think so, yeah, I think so. So I don't think I've ever met him. I mean, if he's in the same room or something, but I don't think so.
One of the great memories of all time.
Never spoken to him on the phone? I've been in Moscow. I didn't meet him in Moscow. Where? Never spoken to him on the phone? I have never spoken to him on the phone, no. I was in Russia. I was in Moscow recently. And I spoke indirectly and directly with President Putin, who could not have been nicer. You said for 3 years, 13, 14, and 15, that you did have a relationship with him. No, look, what do you call a relationship? I mean, he treats me with great respect. I do have a relationship.
What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him.
Putin wants to go in, and I got to know him very well because we were both on 60 Minutes. We were stablemates, and we did very well that night.